All right, Israel. Most High in Christ bless. Shalom. Happy Sabbath. As always, a lot going on. Um, let's open up with Second Ezra 9. Uh, tonight's topic is called Kyrie, the Quail, and Me. Kyrie, the Quail, and Me. Bear with me as I try to bring all these things together. I pray everybody's doing well. Let's put that out there. Yeah. So, Second Ezra 9. And let's start. Let's start at verse 1. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. It says, He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that this is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. I remember when I first initially read this scripture, it kind of, the scriptures that kind of never really leave your head. It's just kind of like when you read this, it's very surreal. At least it was for me. So we're witnessing that now. As you see all these different things are coming to pass, you just caught wind of it, or I did last week, of the Mississippi River dried up. The Euphrates has been drying up for quite some time now. You're seeing all these things play out prophetically, right? Let's jump down to verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. So this is where we are. There's a level of safety and ease, somewhat. I would assume that brothers and sisters would agree that when a lot of things are happening in your life specifically, or in the world in this context, but using as an example that people can relate to, in your life, things are very comfortable become more comfortable when things make sense. Like if you see something that you can easily work out, or you see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, you see the solution to the problem, things get a lot more simpler for you. The anxiety kind of calms down. A lot of different things get clearer, and obviously it's easier to deal with. If you have a problem in front of you that's very difficult to work through, and nobody's there to help, nobody's there to offer any advice or put you in the right direction, that's how anxiety kicks up. Usually the things that are very are not easily communicated to somebody, or it's very difficult for them to understand how to work through something that's very causing a lot of influx and issues in their life. All right, solutions provide ease. When we're reading things like this, and you're seeing these examples out there of the rivers drying up, of warfare, of more talk of more war to come, and what's going to happen if so and so sends a nuke and somebody else sends this and that. A lot of us in the truth can sit back and be like, well, this is the way of the world. We know what's going to happen. We know what's going to transpire. So it becomes a lot easier to do your day-to-day tasks without having that hanging over your head. The rest of the world is just like, I don't know what's going on. If Russia invades Ukraine, or Russia has invaded Ukraine, if NATO steps in, if China invades Taiwan and America gets involved, where's that going to leave us? Putin's not that crazy to just start sending nuclear weapons away. Putin's not that crazy to just send nuclear weapons away. That's going to kill us all. But if somebody told you, listen, that doesn't make any sense for them to start a nuclear war, because at the end of the day, what's going to be left? We can sit back and be like, well, at this point, Putin's not really making decisions. You read in Proverbs, the Most High turns the king's heart. So we know every step that Putin is making Every step that Zelensky is making, every step that Biden's making, at this point, it's always been like this, but it seems so much more evident now that the Most High has his hand in folks' back and they're doing whatever he expects them to do. It's like having the hand in the back of a puppet. They're going to move left, move right. And in their minds, they're looking at things either to pull back and not make any drastic moves to get us in war, or they're escalating things, not even knowing it. But the Most High is the one moving things around to fulfill his purpose. All that stuff makes sense as I'm saying this because a lot of us have a great understanding of what's happening. So it's very easily digestible, and you can look at it and be like, okay, I'm calm because there's a rhyme or reason to the things that are happening. But you have to keep in mind, there's people out there, and this took a process. This is over time. This isn't something that is just an overnight thing where it's happened and everything makes sense and all the pieces seem like they're fitting in place. The things are progressing because we know the Most High's plan. This took time for every single one of us. Okay, real quick, let's go to Psalms 139. Psalms 139 in verse 11. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee. So, a Psalm of David. This is a great chapter. If you haven't read it, I suggest you read it. David has a level of understanding. It doesn't matter where you go, what you wind up doing, what you think you can possibly do something conniving and get away with it, whether you're in front of everybody, in front of cameras, it doesn't matter. You cut the lights out, you go into the darkest corner of your house. The Most High understands and sees everything. The Most High has given us that light to now receive the information, the words, process it, understand it, and work our way through a relationship with the Most High and what he's trying to do with our nation of people. Again, that takes time. This is not something overnight. So we have a level of understanding and a level of comfort as we see things play out exactly how the Most High said they were going to play out. Now, there's a lot of people on the earth that do not have that ease, that level of comfort, because the scriptures tell you this is what it is. This is the comfort. This is the only thing that's keeping any of us level-headed. Because trust me, if all these things was kicking off, let's put it this way. However long you've been in the truth, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever. The feeling you have now, after you've digested all these words, after you've been to Sabbath class after Sabbath class, you can't tell me the same feeling that you get now, or you have now, is the same feeling you had when you first got into this. It's not the same. We know it's not the same. Your actions are different. Your wording's different. Your demeanor's different. How you interact with people is different. Your level of anxiety, if you had some, anxiety might be a little bit of hyperbole for some of us, not for everybody. I'm sure some people like me in the very beginning was freaking out with certain things that you hear about, because this is, again, it's all new. Most people fear the unknown. But it took time to get to where you are now, if you recall yourself from the very beginning. That's very key and important, because that's the outlook you're supposed to have on the rest of the world. The way David understands this, everybody don't have this understanding. The Most High is doing everything. He's shifting everything. He knows how you was made in the womb. He's been watching you. You start making dots and connections to when you lived. Like for me, for instance, when I was living in Jersey at 9, 10 years old, I didn't know that there was a brother that I know now that was up and around the corner from me. And then years later, I wind up in Virginia. He winds up in Maryland. And we have a conversation. It was like, oh, I used to live down a block from you. Very interesting. You start to piece these things together and you're just like, well, the Most High has been working this entire time. I had no idea. You start to draw these pieces together and you're just like, well, this is the reason why this happened. This is the reason why I almost died at one time and I stayed alive. I have a certain purpose. I have a certain respect for the Most High, because it seems like he always had that for me, even though I thought that I might have been less than, never thought I was looked at as important. The Most High has instilled and given that to you and given you the luxury to draw back on the past and look how far you've come. That takes time. David understood it. Moses understood it. Jeremiah understood it. John the Revelator understood it. All these brothers and sisters understood it over time. This is not something that happens overnight. Let's keep that in mind. Let's go to Sirach chapter 25. Sirach chapter 25 and verse 2. Let's start at verse 3. Yeah, verse 3 is the point. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age? We know, like, people that are, I put this post up the other day of another level of wickedness of Babylon the Great, of them, the governor of California, if people haven't seen it, that passed that bill. I forgot what it's called. You have to look on the page and remember the specific number of the bill. But the crux of the bill was a governor now has put in place any child from any state can, if they need solace, if you will, and they need refuge off of the troubling times of gender dysphoria. That's what it's called. But they like to look at it as, oh, it's just a person's, something that God has done to them from birth. It's not a disorder. Just like homosexuality was a disorder on the DSM, but they removed it. Now it's just, an everyday thing. And a person is born with a gay gene, all sorts of stuff. We know the agenda of Babylon. We know these things. But the governor of California passed a bill to where now if a child has that, it feels like he or her was born in the wrong body. You can now find refuge in California, and you don't have to disclose it to your parents, and the state won't do it either. Whoever takes you in or deals with you, they are not compelled to tell your parents that you are here and you are doing whatever gender reassignment surgery, or you feel like that you're not in the right body. They have passed a law to now say that. This is insane. But this is the reason why I mention that, is because the scriptures tell you about Proverbs 22 and 6. You're supposed to raise a child from the youth up. We know children soak up things and they repeat things and they repeat actions and they watch their father move, and the son might do the same thing and the mother does that, sits with her legs crossed, and the little girl starts to cross her legs. They view these patterns and they mimic them. And over time, as you do something enough, it becomes a habit and it's just registers to you as normal. You've seen this with children. This is how process works of growing and learning. The Lord tells you to instill this as a child, the laws in them, so they won't depart from them when they get older. But the scriptures say, if thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find anything in thine age? This is the crux of the entire nation of Israel. You've been lied to from the very beginning. Everything you've learned in this place has been a freaking lie. Everything. Everything. From you people being looked at you like you were less than. You were trash. The color of your skin's a problem. Your hair is not normal, so you have to go home and leave from work. You have to do all these different things. You have to shave your face. You got to dress a certain way to get a job. All these things have been instilled in us from our youth. If you haven't picked up anything of knowledge or wisdom or anything in your youth, what good is that going to do when you get older? Like, what do you have to draw back on in past experiences if you've been living a lie your entire life? This is the level of understanding that has to be looked at and deciphered to be able to have a good level of understanding for who you're dealing with in the time and the period that you meet them at in their life. Moving forward, brothers and sisters, because now as you on the street, you're going to reteach wash away the lies, and systematically instill laws in the people, week after week, after week after week, after Sabbath. This is happening over and over again. And the world is changing. As the Most High is showing us in 2nd Ezra 9, these things are going to end in signs and effects. They have plain beginnings, they were wondrous works, but the Most High is now showing you, as you're seeing all these effects happen, you know that Christ is at the door. But a person's not going to know that if they've never been told this before. Or they told this and they don't know how to process that information overnight. We don't know. But you have a gauge to look at as far as using yourself as that person to measure yourself against somebody else, to understand how to communicate, what to say, think upon yourself and be like, what worked for me? What would I not say to turn somebody else off? That's how you're supposed to move. But it's very difficult for anybody that comes into the truth and gets all this information bombarded to them. And then now they have to take time to decipher these things. Everybody's walk's different. Everybody, because the circumstances in everybody else's life change. They all change. So you have to adjust. It can't be a situation where you're looking at every situation. It's just absolute. It's the way I handle it. This is the way I do this. This is the way I do that. You can't think like that. Just like you're different from the next person or the next brother or sister. So that's the mindset we have to have. Israel's been plagued from the youth. How much beneficial is that when you've been programmed from the very beginning and didn't pick up anything worth a damn anyway, and then you get older and you're just like, well, where do I turn from here? Verse 4. How comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, for ancient men to know counsel. Gray hairs, that's experience. It's a beautiful thing to know that. Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, in understanding and counsel to men of honor. Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of God is their glory. You see how that slowly starts to link up between the two? The experience of the old man, it starts to meet the fear of God, because you start to understand how things work. Once you have the playbook, once you see all these things turning on its head, and you start identifying, this is coming to pass. This is what I was reading in Revelation. This is what I read in Deuteronomy. This seems to make sense. That takes time and experience. All of it. You can read this book as fast as you want and go from Genesis to Revelation in a month if you want. How much understanding did you collect? How much knowledge did you pick up? How much wisdom do you have in how to put that into motion when those things that you've read and the test that you was warned about comes to you? How do you do all that? It's very difficult to do. It's possible. It's possible. But usually nobody masters something that has a mastery level overnight. This just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It didn't happen to none of y'all. It didn't happen to me. Unless the Most High just decides to pour all understanding on you. Everything takes time. This is something we have to keep in mind. Let's go to Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 18. Actually, let's start in Proverbs 13 in verse 12. Okay, it says, Proverbs 13 and 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. Hope deferred, it makes the heart or the mind sick. When you don't have hope, when you don't have nobody showing you there's a way out, when you don't have nobody standing behind you, when you don't have nobody in your corner, the scriptures say two is better than one. Hope deferred, it makes the mind sick. But when you have the desire, it cometh as a tree of life. We're coming back to Proverbs. Go to Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 6, verse start at verse 17. Wherein God, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, that by two immutable things, in which it was impossible for God to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge, to lay hold upon the hope set before us. Is that hope again? It's great if you have it. Verse 19, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which entereth into that within the veil. So it's relatable, obviously, but it's just a different topic. But we know through time and process that the Most High can't lie. There's a difference between saying, hey, I always knew that the Most High is not a liar. Yeah, well, all that stuff, it sounds good when you're in the church. And I ask you, there's a difference if I ask you, show me, what do you mean by that? Can you break this down to me and explain to me and articulate through the scriptures and precepts how showing me that God's not a liar? Not saying, oh, well, Christ is the light of my life. I've been in church for so long and I've seen miracles come to pass. I ain't talking about that. We talking about you being fluent in biblical wording, the Bible scriptures, you being going through process after process to show me this is what the Most High means when he's not lying. This is what it means when it shall come to pass. Show me that now. That's a difference in somebody explaining that and just saying that off the cuff because they've been repeating the same thing over and over again. That's a difference. Hope at the end of the day is the anchor for the soul. That's what we have. Because at the end of the day, if you have hope, you're not going to why would a person give up? If a person has complete hope and trust that whatever he's thinking about is going to come to pass, there's no reason to give up. But when doubt creeps in, your faith starts to fluctuate up and down, up and down, up and down. That's what happens when hope starts to become shaky. That's why the scriptures talk about, let's go back to Proverbs. That's why it says hope deferred, Proverbs 13 and verse 12. Bear with me, y'all. I have a little bit of cold here. Apologies. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. So the tree of life springs up, Christ. It springs up. And it's a never-ending source of safety, of counsel, of peace, of hope. Doesn't end if that desire is there. But if you don't have it, your mind starts to become sick. Jump over to Proverbs 18. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 14. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. The spirit that's within a man will sustain his infirmity. But a wounded spirit, who can bear? It's a question for all brothers and sisters. A wounded spirit, who can bear these things? Because this walk in itself, by no stretch of the imagination, I'm sure any brother and sister I can find would probably be willing to offer up the truth and say, this ain't easy. None of it is easy. But I have hope and I have trust that the Lord is going to execute the plan. So that's your anchor. That's the reason why you're not giving up. Now, scriptures say two is better than one. The Lord said, where two or more are gathered, I'm in the midst. All that support system is great. Everybody needs that. For a person to say, oh, I don't need, now it's a difference in saying, I don't have nobody I'm riding with. I'm not with a congregation. I don't have somebody right beside me. Your faith might be built to the point where, look, it's always two. I'm never by myself because the Lord's always there. That's the hope. You know that for a fact. The Most High and Christ always with me. Some people don't have no faith like that. Some people don't. So, which brings me to one of the points of the class. Kyrie Irving. Everybody's seen it already. Everything that's going on. You saying the same thing with Ye, and I try to be. He changed his name. You try to be respectful. His name is Ye. I won't want nobody calling me out my name, so that's the reason why I'm saying it. Formerly known as Kanye West, right? So you're saying the same thing with both of them. Kyrie is kind of shifted to the forefront now. Now, let's go to Luke 18. And I have to look. It's very disturbing, I have to say. Let me put this disclaimer out there too. Just because, unless I'm not a person that's like looking at situations and being like, yay, is Moses. This guy's going to lead us out. We're going to put our Yeezys on and we're going to keep moving towards the world. I'm not speaking like that. I would assume brothers and sisters that's in the truth are not speaking like that. Now, if people are flying off the handle with people that are in the world making those assumptions, well, listen, our people are simple at the end of the day. They make stuff up like that. Some people are putting their church shoes on and following Joel Osteen into the wilderness. At the end of the day, this is how Israel processes information without the Spirit. That's how the rest of the world moves. But people that's in the truth are not saying, and I can remember, are saying things like, Ye is the Savior. Okay, Kyrie is the Savior. That's ridiculous. Anybody else is saying it, I would suggest medical attention needs to be looked into. That's not an intelligent statement to make, because our king we're always waiting for, Christ, is going to come back. Not no man. You should know by now, if you've been in this long enough or a brief amount of time, no man's going to bite. We're not going to get out of this without Christ. It's not going to happen. So if the uproar that I've seen a lot of people is people in the world, okay, well, it's not really the anger or the attention is not necessarily warranted, because what you would expect a foolish statement from fools, not to call people idiots, but the foolish rejecting knowledge and not having the Most High makes you a fool. By all of us, by default, you're a fool if you don't understand the Most High. You're not processing His words. You don't care about His law. You're a fool at the end of the day. So I would assume that people in the truth aren't saying this. So the uproar I'm seeing, I guess I would dial back. I wouldn't. That's what I would expect from people in the world. So I don't think anybody in the truth is saying that. If you are, there's a problem. All right. But this is disturbing. Luke 18 in verse 9. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves, that they were righteous and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee, the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, God, I thank thee, that I am not as other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. That's the Pharisee. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man, the publican, went down to his house justified rather than the other. For every one that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. So, real quick, Job 9. Job chapter 9. The reason why I'm saying it like, and this is how the problem is with like Luke 18. And this is the disturbing part of it. As a lot has happened in the last week or so with these controversies and everything else. As you're watching things transpire, and the Most High, again, if the Most High's got his hand in the king's back of the earth, the Most High's got his hands in everything that's happened with our people, in the media, whatever it is. The way that Israel should process this is, okay, the word's on the forefront now. It's been on the forefront, but the Most High is showing us different levels and key points to witness and effects and signs to know, okay, we've been close. The Lord said 2,000 years ago, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. At this point, in our generation, in our time, we're watching this transpire, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm here for I love the uncomfortable conversations now, because again, I said this before, there's two ways they can handle this. One, which we know, and they're both impossible. This is the beauty of the Most High and the way He works. Two options. One, either Kyrie talk reckless and Ye talk reckless, and we just let it be and don't say anything about it. We know that Esau's not going to handle it like that. They have to protect what they stole. So they have to address it. Two, that's the second option, address it. And by doing so, causing more gas to be on the fire. And now it's blown up and everybody's getting a piece of the information. Now somebody in California or somebody in China or somebody in Europe is seeing all this stuff happen, and they might have come across another brother or sister that had been in the street and they thought this was crazy. Well, now Kyrie's saying something. I did hear something about Nick Cannon saying something. You start to pay attention to some of Ye's interviews, and people are, Ye is like, y'all are not addressing anything I said. Okay, look, I apologize who I might have offended. Can we now address the issue of what's happening? Oh, well, no, I want you to understand that, this is happening, and it reminds me of the 1930s. My guy, you're 38 years old. You weren't around in the 30s. You're hearing about stories from somebody else to tell you about all the Holocaust and all this other stuff. Okay, well and fine. Can we address the issue what I brought up? Well, you just got to say it a different way. So you start to understand. People will start to understand. Because Most High is working His patience to give everybody the opportunity to repent. Clearly showing it patience and patience and patience and patience. The Most High is a very patient God. We're supposed to be the same way. So as you're seeing all these different things happening, people that have heard this before are just being like, I don't hate nobody. But man, it is really weird that whenever he invokes their name, a firestorm kicks off. Nobody said anything else. Every outlet, every single thing that you see has come out of the woodwork. They brought rabbis, they brought everybody to come out of the woodwork to talk on these things. That should be the point that the people in the know should be paying attention to. The disturbing thing is that when you're seeing, it seems like brothers and sisters are putting up posts, and it seems like they would be more happy or joyed that a brother or sister did not repent. In this case, using Ye and Kanye. It's like, don't trust them celebrities. Don't trust this. Listen, if you are trusting in a celebrity, there's a bigger issue here. But if you are happy to see the conversation be on the mainstream and watch everybody move and shift in their seat, and you can tell that they lying and keep hitting you over the head with lies. Real quick, we'll come back to Job 9. Ecclesiastes 10. I think it's 10. Ecclesiastes 10 in verse 10. It says, if the iron be blunt, meaning if the iron that you're using for whatever the work may be, if it's dull, if it's damaged, I wouldn't say beyond repair, but if you don't upkeep it, it's an object that's used to cut something, but it's the edges are so marred that you can't use it for its purpose. If the iron be blunt, and he do not whet the edge, meaning sharpen it, then must he put to more strength. But wisdom is profitable to direct. And this is a beautiful thing. If you have an axe or something and it's dull, it's supposed to be efficient, concise to the point, and it's efficient. It can cut something immediately and the job gets done. That's what it's for. But the Lord says if you don't wet the edge, if you don't sharpen it, then you have to apply more and more and more effort. It's like people always say all the time, work smarter, not harder. But a person with a dull axe is just hitting and hitting and hitting, and they're not getting what they need out of it. Even though they're repeating itself over and over again, you're putting too much effort into something that's not really accomplishing the goal. But wisdom is profitable to direct. I use that to highlight the fact if the media, they're hitting you over the head over and over again with a dull edge. They keep giving you lie after lie after lie, and they're putting more effort and more effort and more effort to the point where now it looks like it's comical. There's got to be something going on with this. Y'all are dragging this junk through the mud after a person put up a link to something. But wisdom is profitable to direct. If there was something that was smart or intelligent or is concise and to the point, you don't have to say it too many times. It's going to do what it needs to do. And saying it one time is going to be sufficient. But something that somebody's trying to prove a point or get something across to you, and at the end of the day is not doing his job, that you would think that you would be logical enough to be like, hey, we got to stop. This is bringing a lot of attention. But there's only two ways you can handle it. There's only two ways you can handle it. But it seems like at this point, man, brothers are really like, it's like, I wouldn't even put that on a brother, but I'm only, it's like you're kind of insinuating, like, man, Dad, you can't, man, I hope you can't trust him at the end of the day. Y'all gonna do this and this and that. And then brothers will say things like, they'll say things like, well, let's praise them after they've changed their life. Like, okay, cool. I would assume the only way that you can analyze that is they put the picture up or something. Because I've looked at brothers that put pictures up and things on Facebook in the truth, and they be lying. So you don't really know nobody. We're only sitting at looking at something of what they're giving us. So who knows if this person's changing behind closed doors, but everything's a process. That's the point, though. Everything's a process. And the dangerous nature of it is, like you read about the Pharisee and the publican in Luke 18, it's real easy. It's very easy to compare yourself against somebody else. Because usually somebody that's pointing something out into somebody else or ridiculing them for it, which would be considered for them a low-hanging fruit, if they're doing that, it's easy to do that because usually when they're pointing something out like that, whatever that person's dealing with, they've already overcome. It's easy. But if I put a mirror up to you and I say, let's measure, instead of you measuring you against somebody else, let's measure you against your former self. Whatever you were dealing with and whatever your cross is, have you overcome that yet? Have you put that away completely? I don't want to see no relapses. Don't talk about that because you have more of the Lord or spent more time in it than maybe somebody else has. So the burden is more on you. Don't make no excuses. What are you dealing with still? Let's measure you against you because that's your greatest adversary. Let's not compare you to so-and-so. Oh, he can't overcome pork or he can't overcome this. That was easy. Yeah, it was easy for you. That's why you bragging about it or that's why you saying something about it and you're highlighting it. What about when nobody else is looking? You still watching porn? You still smoking weed? You still messaging girls on the side you married? It's easy to do that when somebody else is in the public eye. It's very easy. Now again, you'll never hear the words come out from me. These guys are the new Moses. No, it's ridiculous. But I'm praying and I'm hoping that this is their way into the truth. Because it's going to be a rocky road from where you start to where you need to be at for the Most High to accept your sacrifice or your offering. It take a while. I'm speaking from experience. Brothers and sisters that see this know they can use themselves as an example and know, okay, yeah, he ain't lying. We all know this. So it's very easy to compare yourself against somebody else. Job chapter 9, or else if you did and you say you overcame everything, you shouldn't have no problem saying, I'm perfect. Lord, take me now. You shouldn't have no problem with that. Job chapter 9 and verse 19. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? People will say that, but I don't know if you want that at the end of the day. Like Jeremiah said in Jeremiah 13 or Jeremiah 12 and 1, talked about, let's discuss these judgments. Seemed like everybody else getting away with everything. I don't know if you want to sit down with the Most High and put yourself up for that type of ridicule or cross-examination, if you will, in a court of law with the Most High. Most High is not a fake lawyer that's gonna forget stuff. You bring up your whole rap sheet. I don't know if many people want to do that. Verse 20, if I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. If I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. Because at the end of the day, who's gonna step up and say that? I'm good. I ain't got everything handled and everything's together for me. I would love to see the person, and I'm sure some of the ridiculous things you see come out of Israel, somebody would take that bait and step forward in front of the camera and say, I'm good, I'm perfect, and all this other crap. Somebody gonna say it. At the end of the day, I ain't never seen nobody be out here like Enoch and be translated like that. But the point is, if you felt like you've overcome everything already, and you shouldn't have no problem stepping up and being like, I'm good, I'm perfect. I've already handled everything. I'm just waiting on the Lord to get back, and I know He's gonna take me. That sound like people on the street say that. Sound like Christianity. I know the Lord. I know I'm going to the kingdom. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that are making these claims or posts, and that's how they're thinking. You're carrying yourself like that. But what you know at the end of the day, listen, you're gonna be perverse if you say something like that. You say utter it out loud. But we know. Let's go to Proverbs. Back to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 17. Rejoice not when thine enemy falleth, and let not thine heart be glad when he stumbleth, lest the Lord see it, and it despise him, and displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him. So this is where a lot of people are finding themselves at, rejoicing that you see somebody seems like they're taking a step back. At the end of the day, we don't necessarily know because we not there. You have Ye just tweeted something about his Jewish trainer and screenshotted his text and brought it to him. This is a trainer. This guy says, we can handle this two ways. Either we sit down and have a normal conversation, or I can have you institutionalized and drug you out of your mind, and you'll never see your kids like that. And never be a normal interaction with your kids again. That's a lot of pressure in certain circumstances and certain circles for people to go through. These brothers don't seem like they're all the way there. I don't know if they'll get there or not. I hope. That's my hope for brothers to get there. But usually, what we see a person as all together and fully understands, they don't move like that because the fear of the Lord is on them. Just like, no different than brothers and sisters in the truth, been in it for years. They don't move like the way that they move because the fear of the Lord's on them. So it's this exact same thing, one way or the other. Out the truth or a little bit of knowledge, in the truth for years, and y'all both doing weird things. Maybe not to his level of weirdness, but things you shouldn't be doing with the knowledge you have. You see this happen on both fronts. So even if you see something like Kyrie puts a post up and says that he apologizes, do I agree with it? No, of course not. They lying. Now, I'm not letting you walk around with my heritage and lie about it, but I have this faith that's built up in me for a while. Am I rejoicing to see that? Am I happy to see that? No, because I want the Most High to work with this brother, and he can be a powerful asset coming into the nation and understanding who he is. That will work, but it's on the Most High's time. We know this. But at the end of the day, if you in circles like that, I don't know. This guy's got a wife and he's got a kid. I'm not saying that this is a good thing to back down if that's what's happening, because they talking about the ADL that the post they put out there for the Nets was talking about they donate $500,000, and they've put a joint statement out, the Nets and Kyrie, and then Kyrie came out the other day and said, I heard about it, and yeah, we got it handled. And then the guy on the news said that he didn't even attend the meeting. He didn't even go. He sent somebody else. But Israel be so quick to be like, well, I told y'all, don't trust these celebrities. Who knows? Who knows? Pray for the brother, man. Hopefully he gets to where he need to be at. It doesn't seem like he's there yet, but pray for the brother at the end of the day. It's no different than what our understanding is for these scriptures And these brothers are our foreparents to be in here. Let's go to Numbers chapter 11. Numbers chapter 11 in verse 11. And Moses said unto the Lord, wherefore hast thou afflicted thy servant? And wherefore have I not found favor in thy sight, that thou layest the burden of all this people upon me? Now keep this in mind. This is what Moses is saying to the Lord. I'm doing what you asked me to do. I feel like you gotta say, you feel like you on ESPN, you're sitting after a game in post-game interviews. So let me say this again. Am I saying yay or Kanye or Kyrie is Moses? No, so stop. But pay attention to how these stories are written in these events that take place. They're not too much far different than the circumstantial things that we go through today. This is the hope. I can reflect on this just like I'm reflecting on my past, and I see the Most High working through these circumstances. So Moses asked the question to the Lord, if I'm supposed to be in this seat and your servant, why are you placing all this burden on me to handle all these people? You don't think Kyrie might feel like that? A brother that might come out and say something we all know across the board is true. Everybody know this stuff. You got that. I put the picture up the other day, and I seen this years ago with LeBron sitting down with the rabbis. Why he praying with them? I ain't never heard LeBron come out and say that he practiced Judaism. I ain't never heard that. Why are you holding hands at the table praying with these guys? Why do they own everything? It's not a racist statement or anti-Semitic statement to say you're rich. It's just, it is what it is. Why these things? You can't ask why? You can't? So Moses asked that question. I have the burden of the people on me. Kyrie might be thinking that. Do I know? No. But in a tight circle like that, pressure mounting from every single angle. Job had to deal with a certain thing when he lost his children. His wife flipped on him. Am I saying that about Kyrie? No, I don't know. That's a struggle, though. That's a struggle. But this is what you have to deal with in the truth. And if everybody knows it's true, nobody has his guy back. Nobody. People that know it's true, brothers on his own brothers turn on him. Charles Barkley got something to say. Shaq got something to say. Reggie Miller got something to say. Jay Williams got something to say. Keyshawn Johnson got something to say. Everybody coming out and saying something against his brother. Every single person you can think of, when he's just telling you the truth and putting information out there that's going to do nothing but help our people understand. Everybody turns on him. Moses seemed like he needed a little support here. It's not crazy to ask for. 2 is better than 1. Kyrie might feel like you step out into the light. Somebody gonna say something. Ye might feel the same way. Y'all know it's true. Why y'all not saying nothing? Verse 12. Have I conceived all this people? Have I begotten them that thou shouldest say unto me, carry them in my bosom as a nursing father beareth the sucking child, unto the land which thou swearest unto their fathers? Whence should I have flesh to give unto all this people? For they weep unto me, saying, give us flesh that we may eat. I am not able to bear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. And if thou deal thus with me, kill me, I pray thee, out of hand, if I have found favor in thy sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. Moses said, kill me if you're going to keep this the same way it's going. Moses said that. Peter denied Christ 3 times, and he walked with him. He told him what was going to happen before it happened, and he still denied him. Elijah ran off and asked the Lord to end this now. Kill me now. Let this be over with, because this is too much. These are the great men that we're looking at as our foreparents, making decisions, and they know the Lord thoroughly. 2 walked with him. They know this thoroughly. 3 walked with him. They know the Lord thoroughly, and they still had doubt. They still were fickle on positions. They still struggle with the things that the Lord asked them to do or commanded them to do. They still struggle. people seen the sister put up a post talking about, oh, Kyrie is the new Toby. Did you have that same energy when you read Peter ran and cried? Did you have that same energy for the chief apostle? The same one that Christ put on, you're going to be on the 12th throne judging Israel? It's easy to say that now because you have the end result. You can look at the, oh no, Peter repented. You can easily say that now. What about at the time? Man, you weak, man. You weak. If it was 1619 and I was on a slave ship, I would have never sat back and let them do that. Okay. You got so many house Negroes out here now that you ain't even under that type of persecution and you folding. You got so many, listen, the funny thing about this is some of the posts you see on Facebook, I know some of these people personally, and you ain't Israelite 1000. All that fake energy and, oh, well, they gonna know when this and that, I'm doing this, you gotta stand 10 toes to the ground. I'm like, man, I know some of you personally and brothers don't move like that. All that fake, that stuff is always good for the internet, and people be acting like a completely different type of spirit when this stuff be happening. That would have never been me. That would have never been me. And you sit and you know some of these people and you're just like, well, I've seen some of this stuff happen and you ain't moved like that. I seen some of this. If I don't know you, somebody else that I don't know you, and you're not Israelite 1000. So what I don't understand this stuff, man. Is it the energy to be hype in front of people on Facebook? All that fake stuff, is that what it is? This stuff is really weird to me. It's really weird. Am I perfect? Of course not, man. Of course not. But all that, the fake rah-rah and, use you as an example, and brothers still doing stuff behind closed doors and all this other stuff. Brothers still smoking weed, dealing with multiple wives and all this other stuff. And y'all brothers got so much to say. If it was me, I wouldn't do it. Man, come on, man. You in the truth and been in the truth for a long time, and you fake now. How put that pressure and turn the light on somebody else that might be dealing with something incredible on his level, and his faith might not be built up as yours should be. It ain't, but it should be. So you read about this stuff all the time, man. Moses went through these things, man. Moses had doubt, and he's getting instructions directly from the Lord. Verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. And I will come down, and I will talk with thee there. Watch this. And I will take of the spirit which is upon thee, and put it upon them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bear it not thyself alone. So the Lord executes that. Now somebody can be like, well, Moses had faith at that time. Well, I'd say he didn't. He obviously struggled here, and the Most High told him, reassured him, I'll put that on somebody else. I'll give them some of the burden too, so you don't have to do this alone. I see my servant is struggling. I'm going to be with him. Verse 18. And say thou unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh, for ye have wept in the ears of the Lord, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore the Lord will give you flesh, and ye shall eat. And ye shall not eat 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, neither 10 days, nor 20 days, but even a whole month, until it come out of your nostrils, and it be loathsome unto you, because that ye have despised the Lord which is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why came we forth out of Egypt? Hold that, we coming right back. Let's go to Psalms 49. Psalms chapter 49. Let's read verse 1. Hear this, all ye people. Give ear, all ye inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about? They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to God a ransom for him. For the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever, that he should still live forever and not see corruption. This is the point where we all need to get to. Everybody. The Lord said it's for a reason. The chief things in life: water, food, clothing, roof over your head, or to cover your shame. These things are said for a specific reason. The minimalist lifestyle, that's what the Lord is wanting us to live by and understand. Because if we're living in a minimal capacity, anything extra that we needed, we have to go to the Lord for. That's going to build trust between us and our God. Anything you need, but understand the purpose of why I'm doing it. Now you have a juxtaposition with what's happening in Egypt, because that's not what the mentality is. They asked for something, but the wrong mindset. Now, verse 10, for he seeth that wise men die. Likewise the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. So, this is the point where, I don't know if he's there or not, but this is the point where Kyrie needs to get to. I say it for both of them because it's there. This is the point where it seems like Ye needs to get to. Seems like he's adjusting fairly well. But, there's a lot of confidence in having $400 million. At the end of the day, this is the point we all need to get to. The money, the riches, the women, the cars, the life you used to appreciate or desire, or I shouldn't say desire, you've had it, covet, that life, all those things, the Most High is helping you to understand that stuff is useless. It's useless. Everything that you're understanding right now, the Lord said that the nations are left before just to test you. This is your loyalty test to the Most High. That's it. And the Most High is teaching loyalty through loss. You start to lose these different things, people's demeanor changes, people's mindset changes. The brain processes information differently. When you might think about things differently when you got $65 in your account versus 65 million. Your whole demeanor changes. Now people say a lot of things like, well, the more money only proves or further crystallizes what type of person you are. Maybe so. I would probably argue that because people change when they have money. But nonetheless, the Most High's lesson is this. Everything that you have, what can you do with it? You can't give it to the Most High to stay alive longer. You can't give it to the Most High to protect your life. It's up to the Most High when He take your spirit or not. That's the one you need to seek and get everything from. He's going to sustain you. Man shall not live by bread alone. He shall not live by money. All these different things the Most High is trying to teach. And that's how you build loyalty. Whatever you need, go to Him for. Brothers' minds might not be there yet. They might not be there. The Lord starts taking things away. And you will see how you start to maneuver and how you can adjust. You just keep in mind, because you got brothers, the Most High has done this with everybody. But somebody might criticize a brother like that because he's got money, he's used to the lifestyle, and be like, oh, he chose the money. Maybe. I hope that's not the case. And the prayers are still going up for him. But think about this in the truth. The Most High takes things away. People start to adjust, right? You're supposed to adjust for the righteous side of it. Now think about this for Israel. The Most High took Friday night away. That might have been best part of the week for some brothers and sisters, because where they at in the club, that's what they're going to do, right? The Most High took that away. And instead of adjusting and understanding, well, this is not what the Most High wanted, what do brothers do? They come up with, oh, the day starts in the morning when the sun comes up. Oh, so you can still go to the club Friday night. Okay, cool. Cool. That's when the Sabbath starts, when the sun comes up. The Most High took idolatry away. You turn your elder into an idol. You use his words and usurp the Most High words. Idolatry is still there. The Most High took all that away. You replaced it with something else. The Most High took away your lust. You had multiple wives. You replaced it with multiple wives. All these different things you see brothers do in the truth. In the truth. But yet stand on the soapbox and got something to say about somebody else. And you need to do this. You need to repent. And brothers still in heavy sin now. But the Most High does the exact same thing. Rich or poor, hear this parable. At the end of the day, there's nothing you can do with the money you accumulate, and all that stuff is useless because this ain't nothing but a simulation. Understand that your real life is coming in the second world. Give this trash up. Because at the end of the day, you see how far that money and all that stuff gets you when you say one thing and these people can shut you down from corner to corner. I don't care who you're dealing with. I think Nike, they just said dropped him. It's what it is. But the Most High is doing all that to build you up. This ain't a situation where the Most High is breaking you down to laugh at you while you're down. The Most High is trying to remove you from this evil system and remove the claws they got in you so you can understand the truth and only use your life force through the Most High. Get him to accomplish these things. Send up prayers, fast, do whatever you need to do because the Most High is going to take care of them. This is where brothers need to get to. And sisters. Jump to verse 16. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him. Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, and men will praise thee when thou doest well to thyself. Of course they will. He shall go to the generation of his fathers, and they shall never see light. That ain't what you want. Because that, the Ecclesiastes talking about when a man don't remember nothing when he died, you will when you resurrected. You remember it then. So it's best to live as Most High just recall that information, bring it right back, and then we judged off of that. Man that is in honor and understands not is like the beast that perish. That's all we have at the end of the day. You got the lineage of the kings, royalty. Let nobody back you off of that at all. There's nothing anybody can say that's going to override what the Most High got planned for you. Nothing. But that picture isn't so crystallized yet. It's not so clear to you yet. Because that process of growing might still be there. That process of regressing for some might be there. Who knows? But that's the hope that we have for the brothers to wake up. Hope you have for sisters to wake up. Let's go back to Numbers 11. We're almost done. Numbers chapter 11, verse 21. And Moses said, the people among whom I am are 600,000 footmen, and thou hast said, I will give them flesh that they may eat a whole month. Shall the flocks and the herds be slain for them to suffice them? Or shall all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to suffice them? And the Lord said unto Moses, is the Lord's hand waxed short? Thou shalt see now whether my word shall come to pass unto thee or not. So Moses asks again. You would think somebody in that position, right? They understand everything. They got all the faith. They 1,000 on everything. Moses asked again. There's 600,000 people here. You gonna feed them or what? The birds and the fish? Moses says, let's just sit back and watch to see my word can come to pass or not. Verse 24, and Moses went out and told the people the words of the Lord, and gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people, and set them round about the tabernacle. And the Lord came down in a cloud, and spake unto him, and took of the spirit that was upon him, and gave it unto the 70 elders. And it came to pass, that when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied and did not cease. Watch this. Verse 26. But there remained two of the men in the camp. The name of the one was Eldad, and the name of the other Medad. And the Spirit rested upon them, and they were of them that were written, but went not out unto the tabernacle, and they prophesied in the camp. And there ran a young man and told Moses and said, Eldad and Medad do prophesy in the camp. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Moses, one of his young men, answered and said, My Lord Moses, forbid them. What that sound like to y'all? If you haven't read Luke 9, it sounds like the exact same thing. We found somebody casting out devils in your name. They not walking with us. I heard a horrendous breakdown of Luke 9. Might have been a year and a half ago. Horrendous. Trying to take it and switch it as much as they can to fit an agenda. But what else is new with Israel? You would have to precept that with this. It's saying the same thing. So you got a precept and an explanation for this. So they're telling Moses, listen, forbid them. Same thing. Verse 21. And Moses said unto him, Enviest thou for my sake? Would God that all the Lord's people were prophets, and that the Lord would put his spirit upon them. So Moses is saying the same thing. Excuse me. Apologies. Moses is saying the same thing. Are you envious for my sake? I would that God would put the spirit on all these brothers to do the work. Now, again, lately, and I've just seen these things. And this is the madness of Israel. I just seen these things, and brothers got the nerve to talk about, oh, I commend them brothers for standing up and saying something. Standing at least, and which I agree. At the least, I know the Most High requires a lot from us, but at the least, these brothers in positions we not even seen before, and that may be having some unforeseen pressure or whatever. It might be coming from different angles and sides. People threatening people's lives. All this stuff happened in Hollywood. They might be having some pressure. We don't know what that feel like. So I at least commend the brothers for saying something. Now, brothers in the truth got the nerve, and I just seen this from two different people, two different camps, talking about, oh, commend them brothers for what they doing, and let's pray to the Lord that they reach out to our leadership. So Moses is saying, I would hope that the Most High put the spirit on all these brothers to do what the Most High is asking them to do. But brothers now saying, commend them brothers. I pray to the Most High that they reach out to our leadership. All roads lead back to us. What kind of, man, as time goes on, you start to understand and can't even fault the Most High for him being so mad over and over and over again with this nation. The ridiculous stuff that be coming out of brothers' mouths, and brothers been in the truth double the time I've been in it. That's not to say that whoever spent more time is the most knowledgeable. Obviously, that ain't true. But you would think that this childlike behavior and the level of pride would kind of dissipate over time, but it seems like it's been growing and growing and growing. And again, have the nerve to comment on people that don't seem like they in the truth in the eye of the celebrity. But if we measure y'all two against each other, the person in the truth look worse, because apparently you know the way out and the way to operate, and you're falling short with the information. They're falling short without the information. This is very fascinating. How could a brother have that mentality? I pray that he come back to our leadership. For what? Are you Christ? Are you the Most High? You just got y'all camp, y'all congregation just got everything worked out. You know all the breakdowns, you know everything. Stuff will be no precepts to back any of this stuff up, just a level of pride. But again, if we walk through the wilderness and we push this out further, we go to Numbers 16, you see the same thing happening over and over again. The exact same spirits, the same demeanor, the same madness coming out of Israelites' mouth. It's a freaking joke. But these are the times we in. The effects and signs. This is still under the Most High's hand. You're seeing all this stuff happening. All this stuff is due to the Most High. Make sure you on the right side of things. Verse 30. And Moses gat him into the camp, he and the elders of Israel. And there went forth a wind from the Lord, and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp, as it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on the other side. Think about that. 600,000 men, a day's journey on one side, a day's journey on the other. Round about the camp, and as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. And the people stood up all that day, and all that night, and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers. Look up these measurements. Look up these measurements. We're talking about thousands of pounds. Look up these measurements of the stuff that people was, if you will, hoarding. Right? I just seen this quote from this woman the other day. She said, why is it considered hoarding when a person that's poor and he's hoarding, but the people that's rich do the most hoarding, but it's not known as hoarding? It's very insightful. I never thought about that before. The people stood up all that day, all that night, and all the next day, and they gathered the quails. He that gathered least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them all abroad for themselves round about the camp. And while the flesh was yet between their teeth, ere it was chewed, the wrath of the Lord was kindled against the people, and the Lord smote the people with a very great plague. Now, why would he do that? You can take the quail as a euphemism for whatever you want to make it. Ultimately, the initial reasoning or the underlying factor was lust. It's not the fact that the Most High provided you something to eat because you asked for it. Why would the Most High provide that and then kill you? Doesn't make any sense to some. Let's go to Psalm 78 real quick. Psalm 78, verse 25. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. It's what he's talking about as far as how much he brought. It's a lot of people. It's a long time to walk a day's journey and have all these birds there. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp round about their habitations. Verse 29. So they did eat and were filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of God came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. So, for all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. Again, seeing isn't always believing. It ain't. Everybody's seeing the rivers dry up. What that mean? You telling me God's in control of that? That's what I'm explaining to you. God's doing all this stuff. I don't believe that. You see the rainbow? That was a covenant made with us. I don't believe that. You see it though. Yeah, I see it, but that's science is explaining that water, and that's they've got degrees. Seeing isn't always believing. The Most High has given them an abundance of the quail and killed them. Why? Was it because quail's unclean? No. Was it because they was hungry? No. The Most High is trying to run us through tests of taking things away from us. Let's read it. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 8. The Most High is running us through this gauntlet to help us to understand a minimal lifestyle. You don't need all these different things. Anything extra you need, ask me for. I'm going to show you that I care about you. Whatever you need, I already know your thought before you even have it. I'll provide it for you. But I have to be the one regulating it. Because if I allow you to do whatever you want, it's like a kid in a candy store. He'll just eat anything until all his teeth fall out of his head. That's what they're going to do. So the Most High has that love for you to watch over you and give you provisions, whatever it may be need in that time. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 1. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply. and go in and possess the land which the Lord sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. So again, was the quail unclean? Was it a problem that they was hungry? No. The problem was their desire and their lust to still get and acquire things where they had an abundance in Egypt. The Most High is trying to, the mentality has to shift. The way that you see things have to shift. Egypt can offer a lot of different things to you. A lot of tangible things they can offer to you. Food, cars, women, fame, anything. Take you to the highest level, like Matthew 4, the Satan was trying to show Christ these things. This could be all yours. All that stuff has been done. This is just a test. Same thing for Kyrie. Same thing for Ye. Same thing for any other brother that want to stand up. This is just a test. Any brother or sister in this truth, everything that you go through is just a test to test your loyalty and for the Most High to show you, not him, he already know, for him to show you the desire that's in you. You need to know yourself so you can clear up and clean out the deficiencies that you have. The Most High has to be able to do that for you. It's not an easy thing to look in the mirror and see all the blemishes there. It ain't easy. Some things are easily, you can get over this faster and quicker because you might weigh it differently than something else. But somebody somewhere got some heavy something that they're dealing with, and it's hard for them to just let it go. But at the end of the day, you have to make that sacrifice for the Lord. The Most High is making it for us. This is the mentality you have to have. That's what they're going through. Egypt's got everything that you ever could desire, except the right way to serve the Most High. And I'm going to show you that. And they're going to do anything at all costs to keep that off the radar. And they're doing it now. But all praise to the Most High. It's got so much exposure now. You pray that helps brothers and sisters to listen. That helps brothers and sisters to bring clarity to this. Because it's the same thing with brothers and sisters might not be able to listen to their family member. They see somebody else that they look up to. Kyrie can handle like this. Has some kids somewhere looking at it. Why is he saying this? What's he mean by us being Semitic? I can't do this I can't be anti-Semitic if I know who I am. I'm Semitic. I'm a real Jew. All these things are gonna spark, and it's Most High's plan for this stuff to happen. The word's got to reach the four corners, and the end shall come. That's the mentality. It has to shift, man. Brothers and sisters in the truth gotta do better, man. 2 Ezra chapter 6. Let's close out here. 2 Ezra chapter 6 in verse 18. And it said, behold, verse 17. And it happened that when I heard it, I stood up upon my feet and hearkened, and behold, there was a voice that spake, and the sound of it was like the sound of many waters. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh, and to visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and they all shall see altogether. It's a scary thing. As the books are open, you're going to get judged out of these things. The deeds that you've done is going to be matched up with the law. For everybody to see, all that confidence and all that chutzpah, as they say, all that stuff that they say, and these things that are so pushed so hard on Facebook, and all these posts that people make, and knowing doggone well you still high, you still doing these other things, you still sleeping around, you still doing, but got the nerve to come out and put on Facebook, man, I should have told y'all, brothers gonna realize or whatever, how it's gotta mean to be 10 toes to the ground, all this other stuff, man, all that fake energy, man. The Most High recording all this stuff, recording all of it. Meet everybody with humility. Just be humble at the end of the day. You are the dust of the ground, and all your righteousness is filthy rag. All of us, we're all in the same boat. The only thing we got is that hope. That's it. We know it's going to come to pass. All this stuff been coming to pass at the end of the day. But everything's going to come. The stuff that's in the dark must come to the light. It's all happening. It's all happening. You're just hoping that whatever you're doing don't have to be exposed and be brought in front of many people to see. So at the end of the day, man, look, the stuff that the Most High is putting in place, it's a beautiful thing because it reaffirms everything that you're already doing. Like every now and then, like we be out teaching on the street, and we know what we're doing and we're already proud of it. But every now and then you have some, I mean, it happens a lot. But still, it doesn't necessarily lose its effect. Because if you're thinking about this the right way, you know the Most High is controlling spirit. You'll have a brother come up out of nowhere and just be like, man, it takes a lot of courage and drive to be able to come out here and speak these words no matter what nobody say. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And I just want to commend you, brothers. Now, I don't know this brother from nowhere. I don't know this sister from nowhere. But hearing that, and I know the Most High, nobody's saying things without the Most High say so. It's not to say that we're doing everything right, but it's still good to hear. But we still are proud at the end of the day to be able to say these things and understand and process the words to give it to people, articulate it so they can understand it. But it's still happy to be able to, it brings a sense of joy to be like, man, it is, at the end of the day, it's Israel against the world. It's repentant Israel against the world. And that's a proud moment to be able to have these things week in and week out because I know I'm on the right side of things. Am I going to make it? I don't know. I hope I am. And my hope is the same for brothers and sisters everywhere, man. Like Paul was saying, like, my heart's desire that all Israel make it. Is that going to break the prophecy? Of course it will, because all Israel ain't going to make it. Do I rejoice to see somebody struggle or mess up? No. It's not a great moment for me. A lot of brothers and sisters it is. And it's unfortunate. But listen, measure yourself against you. There's comparisons and stuff. I get it. I'm not saying don't call somebody out for their BS. Put that junk on the forefront because Israel need to know their sins and their transgressions. I ain't saying that. But just don't be so happy when you see brothers struggling like this. I don't understand that. But at the end of the day, look, time running short, brothers and sisters. Most High is waking everything up on the forefront and showing every single person, man, this word is true. There ain't no doubt. There's nothing that necessarily is turning you one way or the other. Stay on the right path because you know the Most High is directing all things. And pray that you be counted worthy in the time to come. Keep praying for brothers and sisters. Look out for the people that don't understand. Have a level of compassion and sympathy for the brothers and sisters that's still stuck in this matrix in the world, man. A lot of people are evil. A lot of people don't want to repent. So be it. But have that hope for brothers and sisters and keep prayers up for them that the Most High reveals it. We don't know. Like in John 3, we don't know which way the Spirit goes. The way the wind listeth, we have no idea. But pray that you have that same love and you can keep it for those that hate you. It's the same way Christ explained to us. What good is it if you love those that love you? Pray for everybody. Keep that, have that hope that you have for your mother or your cousin or your aunt to wake up. The same for Kyrie and them. The same for Ye. The same for LeBron. The same for the biggest coons you might see out there. It's still embarrassing at the end of the day that they turn their own people. But look, you pray that they get to the point where they're looking at and they reevaluate themselves and they're just like, I can't believe I used to be that person. But all praise to the Most High, I'm in the truth now. All right. That's it. I pray this the class help somebody to look at these things and think about these things. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I pray y'all continue to endure. Keep the prayers up for each and every one of us. Everybody needs it. Time is winding down. Keep paying attention to the news. outside of NBC and all the other crap they give you, because a lot of stuff is happening overseas and they're not reporting on it. So pay attention to those things. All right. Lord's will, very soon. Next class. All praise to the Most High. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shalom, y'all.